Why, hello there, precious and semi-precious beings alike. Shams Nelson here from Fantastic Anatomy, back with the second character design challenge, and this week's prompt is Ruby Fighter. And if you're not aware, the character design challenge is a collaboration challenge I'm doing with Markus Creation, so check out his channel. The link's in the description. And he's also going to be doing a Ruby Fighter and releasing his video today, so you can see how our character designs differ and our processes differ. So this week I'm trying to do something a little different. Last week Marcus did a chibi character, and I thought that sounded really fun, so I'm going to do one for this Ruby Fighter. And I've already drawn out 3 possible bodies for him, and I went and kind of used different design principles just for the head mostly. So there's a circular head, a triangular head, and a square head. And I talk about the significance of each of those in other videos, so I won't go too much into that. But yeah, so since the circular head's the least threatening, let's make him kind of more of a happy fighter, or more upbeat. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in a face to kind of give me an idea. But we still want him to look tough because he's a fighter. So fighters in the Dungeons and Dragons sense of the word can be pretty much any warrior. It's not really a like boxer type fighter. So I'm wondering, should I interpret it that way, or should I go ahead and make him a like boxer type fighter? You know, more of that kind, go in that direction. So I'm not sure yet. I haven't gotten down to the body yet, so I'm gonna kind of just take it as I go along. So let's make this guy look a little more dangerous with some triangular or spiky hair. So maybe the general hair shape will be like this, so it's like a triangle like that. Alright, so and then we'll kind of break it up with some spikes. Just keep that corner straight. Let's do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose which body and head I like from each of these. So let's keep it light and sketchy. Maybe I'm getting a little too much into detail at this point because everything can change. Anything can change. Let's give him some shoulder armor. And like that. Cool. So this guy will be more of a D&D type fighter, let's say. And then maybe this guy will be the boxer, since he's in that pose. I gave this guy a different weapon, a stick type weapon. I'll do the weapon last, I think. Or we'll see. So just keep this like that. Maybe he's wearing gauntlets of some sort. Alright, cool. And let's not make things too complicated, so I'll leave an empty space here, a space of rest. I've been watching more of the KNKL show. I don't know if that's how I think that's how you're supposed to say it. It's pretty good. The guys, I've been learning a lot from him. I'm actually using his chalk brush that he provides and does like most of his sketching with, and digital painting. So I really like it. It's a nice brush to use. It's got a good feel to it. Okay, cool. So that's basically the idea for this guy. I'm going to go with this. And you know what? Let's not flesh out the idea unless I decide to roll with it. So I'll leave it as it is. But let's give him a little like goatee maybe. This seems a little plain. Alright, that's kind of cool. And oh, I forgot, he's a ruby fighter. So what the heck does that mean? So I'm assuming he has some kind of, uses rubies to maybe augment his powers or something. So let's give him a couple rubies on his shoulder, and maybe a ruby, or maybe he's part of like a ruby clan, perhaps, like they have some kind of affinity or like religious significance to the ruby. And maybe I'll make his hair ruby colored too. And maybe I'll name him Ruby, just to be safe. Let's think about that. All right, cool. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah, I'm not hating the design. I'll do the weapon last. So if I decide to go with him, I'll give him a sword, probably, maybe a shield. And if not, then if I go with one of these guys, then it'll be different. So let's say this Ruby fighter is more, well, since he's got a triangular head, maybe make him more sinister. So he's got these sneaky little eyes. Maybe a pointy nose. His mouth is way over here. Kind of sizing up the situation. Oops. Right here. Alright. Sizing it up. I was reading, there's this Chinese cartoonist. My dad got a book from him before, from China. And let's see, let's try a different type of armor. Okay, so how are we going to incorporate the rubies on this guy? What if he has like a ruby, like, what's it called? Tiara? No. Oh, circlet. That's what they call it in Diablo. And I think that's a more gender neutral term. So a circlet, okay. So I was thinking of giving him some hair like this. It actually kind of looks cool. Now that I'm thinking about it. Does that look cool? Alright, let's go with it. Why not? It looks cool enough. Alright. So, and he says the proverb, or one of the proverbs, and he does a little proverb and illustration, is that the real, like, the real punishment of being untruthful is not people not trusting you, but you not being able to trust others. And I thought that was interesting, because if you're like lie a lot, then you'll assume other people are like you. People tend to do that in general, is to assume that other people are like are similar to you and kind of like see the world the way you do. So it'll be difficult to trust others if you're untrustworthy. That's interesting. Very appropriate. I like that. So right now I'm using a lot of triangle shapes for his thing. So this is more round. I guess that might serve as a point of contrast. Kind of bring the eye there, because it's one of the fewer round shapes, more or angular, triangular type shapes in general. I'm not going to worry about the fingers and stuff. I like to, when I'm doing chibi characters, I like to leave the hands, make them easy by just kind of combining all the fingers into one finger, or two fingers, the thumb, and then like every other finger. So let's see, something like that. I actually really like this guy. I actually like both of them. They're both pretty cool. But which one shall be the true Ruby Warrior is the question at hand. So I'm using a lot of these angular, triangular shapes to try to keep a shape language going, so that I can, so the design has some continuity to it. So I'm going to point that, I'm going to make the feet pointed to keep that going. A few more points, point here. The ear's a little round, but that's okay. And, alright, cool. Yeah, I like this guy. I think he's a lot more unique than this first guy, even though I don't hate the first guy. So out of these two, I'm probably going to go with the second one. But let's go ahead and do this boxer guy. And this guy, let's make him like kind of serious. We're going to use more boxy square shapes. And let's give him his boxing gloves. That'll be one of his main features. Alright. And what would a boxer wear? Well, maybe he's shirtless. Give him his, make him all buff. And then he's got his boxing shorts on. So usually they got like a big waistband area. Let's do that. And then something like that. And he's not wearing shoes because he's in the ring. Cool. And by the way, I'm going to do a course on how to draw chibi characters. I'm still working on because I really like doing that. And it's a really fun way to draw characters, and it's really quite easy to learn, even if you don't have too much experience with drawing, or you're more at a beginner or intermediate level. Then you can do a lot of fun stuff where when trying to draw people and characters with proper anatomy, just the anatomy itself is such a hassle that you can't get creative with the items and costumes and stuff like that. At least that's how I felt. So I'm going to be working on that, and I think when I get to 1,000 subscribers, God willing, I told myself I'll take the channel more seriously and start like upping the production value and creating like side courses and stuff like that. And yeah, but I'm really honored and appreciative to have the 470 or so subscribers that we're at now. So if you're a subscriber, you're freaking awesome. Thank you. And if not, then I don't know what you're doing with your life there, buddy. You gotta get on top of this subscribing to Fantastic Anatomy thing. Alright, cool. So I actually like all three of these characters. Which one shall I choose? Well, what would be the criteria? Maybe one that... Oh, I didn't add any rubies. Where are the rubies? Oh, I keep forgetting about the... So you'd add some rubies on his fist. So this guy's only got one ruby. Does that count enough to be a ruby fighter? I guess so, if like that's his... Maybe I'll put... Because that seems to be one of his main... Let's put 2 more rubies on his forehead to accentuate the ruby fighter-ness of him. Alright, you know what? I really like this guy. I think I'm going to go with him, even though this guy's pretty cool too. But I think this guy's the most unique. This guy's the most interesting shape language going on. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Now I'm just going to outline and color him in the style that I used for, I have a video called Easy Cartoony Digital Painting Tutorial, I think, and where I go through, maybe I'll put a link in the description or something, or on the screen now, but where I show exactly how I do this inking and coloring style, and it just uses the basic brushes and everything. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I forgot something very important. Our friend here needs a weapon. Can't be much of a warrior or a fighter without a weapon. So let's go ahead and do that for him. So there's an interesting way to do weapons, which I have seen before, but I haven't really explored too much, and that is to do one side. Okay, so he's got some kind of spear or staff type weapon. So let's probably do a spear. So you can do one side like that, and you know what, let me give it a little more something pizzazz. How can I do that? Well, alright, well let's just keep this one simple, and then we can go on. And then you take a selector tool, select half of it, you know, copy and paste, and then you just flip this one over, like so. And I gotta go back to the other layer, and actually I drew both sides, so let me erase that. Erase this out on this side, so it's just half. And then move it over. Alright, so then at least it's very symmetrical and stuff, so you kind of got that going on. Now how could, I gotta add a ruby to it, because he's the ruby fighter. Maybe something like that. Can I add something coming off this way? I don't want it to get too complex. I don't know if I'm feeling this one. Let's go ahead and make another one. Or maybe let's combine these two, and maybe I can sculpt it a little bit. So I'm going to merge these layers so that they're on the same layer. Yeah, I think it was a little too thick to be a spear. This is kind of looking cooler, I like that. And since we're just having fun with it, and for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and go with this first design, instead of experimenting a lot with different designs. Let's just go with that. Should there be a spike on the other end? Nah, it's okay. Muffin, I'm recording a video. Be good. Alright, and then I can just stick it right here in his hands. Like hither. Like so. Alright, I think I'm digging it. Maybe even add a little spike, have that be a spike on the other side. Very fearsome of him. Alright, cool. Yeah, so I think we're pretty much ready for the inking and coloring stage now. We'll just throw them here in the middle. And see what it is. Cool. Yep, let's do it. Alright, cool. So I added all the highlights and shadows and that good stuff, and I decided to name him Eldar, the Ruby Fighter. And here he is in all his glory, ready for battle. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this character design challenge. And definitely make sure to check out Markus Creation's channel. He also did a Ruby Fighter. And so I haven't actually seen it yet as part of the rules for the character design challenge. We can't look at each other's work before we do it. So I'm interested to see how he interpreted this this prompt and how his character turned out. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace, God bless, and stay fantastic, everyone.